Lasers. Lasers are so...
90s?
I was gonna say 70s. Can you please stop making me feel old?
Got bad news for you, Sam. You are old.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Splinter Cell Chaos Theory 100% expert walkthrough. This is the third mission. It is the bank, and if you can see through the gloom of the video, because as I've mentioned, Chaos Theory uses a different lighting system, so the lighting is much more dynamic and realistic, but unfortunately it's making the videos a hell of a lot darker than I anticipated when I recorded them, and because I'm not somebody who uses the night vision too much, it's going to make some sections quite tricky to see unless you're watching it on the max resolution on a pretty big screen. But I hope you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just gradually sneaking up to these two guys in the courtyard, and I'm going to take them down with non-lethal takedowns. The reason I'm doing this is quite simple. We're going to be coming back through here later on, and it's just going to make things easier to speed up the process if we get rid of them prematurely. When you get back here afterwards and they're still alive, they are patrolling around a little bit. You can use the zip line to kind of mitigate the threat, but it's still overly tricky than it ever needed to be if you just took the time to do what I'm doing here. This is also going to give me the easiest opportunity to get into the front of this bank, because one of the objectives is to access a bunch of different computers and get some information, and the one I missed on my first playthrough was in the front of the bank. Because when you get in there, you realise there's no way out except for the way that you went in, and I did it by turning this power box off over here and not taking out any of the enemies. So sneaking out became incredibly difficult because there was a bunch of dudes that were onto the fact that the power had just gone out. So I think that this is a much better way of handling it, because then you can do it at your own leisure. You don't have to be under any kind of circumstance which could result in failure, except for this, where when you open this door you're going to be briefly illuminated and this guy's going to get some bad ideas. But a really good strategy in Splinter Cell, where when they introduced the ability to kick the door, which I think pretty much all of them have had. It might have been on Pandora Tomorrow when it was introduced. But you can use it to take people out, and it's really, really good. So that guy sees something, gets a little suspicious. I trank the camera with the EMP. There it was. Now he's actually going to move and check us out. So he's going to move around the right hand side of his desk once he's finished being an idiot. I'm going to keep this camera off as long as I can. That was unfortunately failed because you can't keep it, repeatedly down unless it recovers first. It has to recover to be vulnerable again. I'm going to watch this dude. I'm going to wait. As soon as he gets close to the door, the guy's getting a concussion. And there you go. So, put out the camera again just in case. And I'm going to go around to his computer. And I'm going to hack it. And I'll probably shoot the lights off so that I can have an easier path to get out of this front reception area. But you can come back and do this room before you leave if this is the computer that you're missing, but once again you're going to have probably all those guards wandering about because you did it really stealthily and it's going to work against you. Or you can just get a really good path, a really good patient route where you can come in and get out without any of them really knowing that you were there. It's very tricky to do because I tried it myself, but it can be done. So you're going to have to hack it. If you don't know how the hacking works, you'll probably learn it quite quickly. One of those numbers is right, the other ones are all wrong, and it's going to give you, every so often over time, little clues as to which ones the numbers are, and you've got to remember them and line them up. Sometimes it can be very deceptive though, because on some of the more trickier hacks, it doesn't give you all the numbers, so there was no way to know with 100% accuracy that it was the one you were picking, and if you pick wrong you get an alarm, and of course, alarms are a bad thing, and they will ruin your 100%. So rush around the right hand side here of this outer courtyard, trank out the camera so it doesn't give you any issues, and then run over to this ladder, climb it, and we're going to be descending Mission Impossible style into the bank. So it's the 3rd of March today, folks. I have give or take 7 days to finish this project, which is more than enough time. All it needs is a bit of editing and a lot more commentary. But at the same time, I also need to finish editing the Final Fantasy X one, because I'm in like the last 20 parts of that need editing. And I also need to finish, or as I whistle on the game by accident probably, because I didn't mean to, I don't think. Oh, and I fall down as well, there you go. This is all skillful gameplay on this channel game. Skillful language usage as well, doesn't even make sense. But on top of that, there is, of course, Pandora tomorrow, which is already done, but you're going to be seeing the finale of that rather soon, probably today. And then on top of that, we have the Kingdom Hearts stuff, which that is completely done, except for the Birth by Sleep stuff, but I'm going to wait on some of that, just so that I can, you know, air out the room a little bit before you get too much Kingdom Hearts in your life too quickly. And then there are the other things that are happening on the channel, like the Dark Souls one, where today I'm going to sit down and record the end of that, because there's only a couple more parts left. Go to the catacombs, kill Gwendolyn, kill Gwyn, maybe kill Calamite, depending on how I feel. You are old. I love that line. That's the reason why I've used it in the intro, because there are certain parts of Splinter Cell games that are forged into my memory, and that is one of them. Because Sam is old, and that's what is so funny about these games. He ages backwards in them. He truly is Benjamin Button in the bizarrest of senses. Because in the first game, I could swear to God he was like mid-40s, something like that. He was getting on, he was all silver and veteran and what have you, and not really the type of person you would think they would have in the field. And I think that's why, you know, that they intentionally made the character that way, because he's kind of this grizzled vet who's seen too much, but he's still sharp enough to get shit done, because that's what he's been doing for the last 20 years kind of thing. But then with each game and he looks younger, you're just like, what is even going on here? Video games, you know, madness. But once you've used the goggles to hack the lasers off, we're going to come over to the sleeping guy. Do you notice how there's still no option to grab him? Very finicky on the grab detection. But I'm going to grab this dude, I'm going to interrogate him. I'm only interrogating him because it fills the time to get him to the retinal scanner, which I'm going to force him to open in a moment. I'm going to skip my way past it though. There we go. And now that the door is open, we can put him over in the darkness and we should be okay. So, you don't have to be, you know, too strict with your body placements on Chaos Theory. I think it's a lot more flexible than the other games were. But at times, it can be the thing that gets you, you know, in trouble. It can be the thing that ruins your rank. So, if you think back to what you've been doing, if there's anything that is kind of, you know, not as polished as you could have made it, you might want to go back and change it a little bit. But I'm going to shoot out the exit light. That way the camera's not going to give me any issue. However, I think somebody heard that, so you might see some guards coming on this corridor. That being said, there is a guard checking a door in front of us, who we're going to be taking out, and then there is a control room to the left of him that has 3 people in it, and all of them are going to be going the way of unconsciousness, because it just makes traversing the bank a much easier job if you miss anything. And I did. Like, there's probably going to be some interesting editing on this, because I got to the end and I was missing one of the pieces of information from a computer, so I had to retrace my step through all of the bank, checking every machine to find the one I'd missed. And I don't know how it's going to look on the video and how out of sequence it's going to be, but hopefully you'll get the understanding of which computer it was, and you can get it when I didn't. You know, I might even edit it so it looks like I got it in sequence, which is completely not true, but that's the joy of editing. It makes me look better than I in fact am. But did we make a noise to get this guy come over? Yeah, we did. So I don't know if I whistled or if I used my footsteps, but he's going to come this way. Or maybe this is just part of his natural path. Ah, yes, I think this is his path. He sees the lights busted, he's going to walk on that, skirt that edge, so we're going to grab him. So I had a trouble here where the people in the control room saw this guy's body because I didn't put him in anywhere fancy. I just dumped him in the shadows on this corridor. So you'll notice I'm going to push this guy further down this corridor to an area where they realistically won't patrol if I set them off. And hopefully we won't have any issue with it. And I didn't in the end, so it means it's a good thing. So we're listening to a little bit of his dialogue. He tells us a code to some of the doors, which is really useful. Once again, if you want to know the codes to the doors, they're all on the internet. You can literally get them before you've even played the level, and you can skip a lot of nonsense, but I don't really think that's the spirit of a walkthrough, so that's why I've not really used that as any kind of strategy yet. Although, I wouldn't look down upon it, and I'm not condemning you for doing it, because I think it's a really smart way of doing it. It's just, at this time, I'm just kind of playing, and I'm just doing my thing. So did you see how you can no longer see the code? They fixed that in Pandora tomorrow, and then fucked it up in this. So stupid buggers like me with crappy short-term memories have to keep going back and looking at it. I think that's a massive error on Ubisoft's part. And I have no idea why they did that. But this little office room is going to be really important. We're going to be using it to dump some bodies. We're going to be checking out the filing cabinet first, learning a bit about Zerkezi, checking the computer just in case, you know, checking the family photos, checking it all, and then we'll be using this as a trap zone to take out some of the guards. But Lambert's keeping us company, informing us of some stuff as we're checking this and seeing what it is. 663010, so I should be able to tell which one it is. Upload the fake email, and then we can proceed onwards. So, I always found it interesting that the doors have a green light on them when they're open and a red light on them when they're not. So, it's quite the declaration to somebody, isn't it? Wow, they heard my footsteps, interesting. So, believe it or not, that this is a strategy that you can use to get them out of the room. What you want to do is you want to get them out of the room and you want to get them divided. Sometimes the best way of doing this is to make a noise, which is what you just saw. And sometimes it doesn't go the way you want it to. It goes different every time. The one guaranteed thing is when they're going back to the door, you can always grab one of them without the other one noticing. I seem to be able to do this somehow. This is on expert, guys. He didn't hear it for whatever reason. We were in darkness, and he's just going to go and reset, and we've got his buddy. And none of them have noticed that they're a man short, which is awesome. So we're going to carry this guy back into the study that we were just in. The ye old English, you know, mahogany palace of desks and books and Patrick Stewart. And then we're going to knock this dude out. Like so. And I believe what's going to happen here is somebody's going to notice that the light is off in this room, because I'm going to turn it off now that there's a body in here. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm going to leave it on. So there it was. I'm intentionally using footsteps again to lure them in. And wherever your footsteps are is where they will patrol towards. There's a dude on a computer there, like playing Minecraft or something. He doesn't care. He's just, you know, yeah, you do what you want. You kick them doors. You pull that gun. And then I'm going to take this guy out and I'm going to clop him. And we're going to go into that control room. And then there's only, like, what, 2 more guys in this bank left to attend to. Because there's one dude we're not even going to go near because he's out in a courtyard and we never have to go there, so there's no point to. And then we'll have free reign of the entire environment. And then you can make as much noise as you want. But there he goes. He's been knocked out. Of course, make sure you're saving, folks, every time you do something successful. 3624. There we go. I actually remembered that one. And then we can come in here and introduce this dude to the knuckle to the neck technique, which I suppose it's kind of like a non-sexual donkey punch, isn't it? Oh no, I'm going to grab him. Interesting. Can't even interrogate the dude. I think I expected you to be able to get something from him, you know, seeing as how he's on the computer and he doesn't move. But ton of computers in this room that I'm going to try and mess with, see if there's anything to security access, bit of information that you can read if you choose to, couple of cameras, nothing too special. 191, see what it is, 20 on the end, 19120, 2020, is it 67? I guess I took an educated guess. But there are plenty of ways to do educated guesses on that if you're struggling. The one is, you know, if you see a part of the code, for instance, like the 2020, if none of the other ones have 2020, it's of course the only one it can be. And you've got to do a lot of deductive reasoning with it. And at first it looks quite tricky, but you get into the swing of it quite quickly. But now that we've cleared this area out, I just told a lie, there's more than 2 guards. There's 2 guards in one area, but there's also 2 people in a computer room coming up. So I'm going to take that light out, just in case. So that you can't see what I'm doing now. And I actually put the night vision on, which is nice to see. So we're in a vent, if you didn't see this. This vent is going to lead us out into a toilet. And in this toilet is going to be 2 guards. One of them is going to walk away. The other one's going to be taking a piss. And this is a great moment, this, because I only saw one of them. I don't think I had the volume on when I was recording this. So I thought he'd left at this point, and I walked forward like an idiot. And it turns out he's to my left taking a piss. And I noticed Sam was looking at a dude. And lo and behold, there's a guy here. So I get quite lucky there. I grab him, I interrogate him, and I'm going to dump him in a toilet. Then there's only one left, and I think, if I can remember back to this moment, I turned the light off in the bathroom, and when I open the door, the other guy notices the bathroom lights off, and he just walks into the Venus flytrap of Sam Fisher, and then we can use their room and kick some ass. You'll notice this is a 30-minute video. This is a pretty long mission, and it's a mission that you have to do very methodically. It took me, I think, 2 attempts to get the 100% on this one, so in the grand scheme of things, it was a pretty kind one. But it can still be difficult, guys. It's all about learning that pattern. So, there's the light switch. No? Must have been a different run, that. Oh, that was it. There you go. So, he heard the light get smashed. I did that so the camera couldn't see me. And he's just noticed that the bathroom light isn't on in spite of the randomly exploding room light. Like, you've got to love that AI. It's so particular. And because it's such in that way, you can use it to your advantage. So I knocked him out and left him there. Of course, it's not a very spy thing to do because it's not the most professional placement. But I know there are no guards that will ever come to this area because all the ones on the other room are down, and the ones that we're about to come across are also going to be knocked out too. So we're completely safe without fear of those alerts. A couple of emails to check through, and no security access here, so there's no... Oh no, my bad, there is a security access, so 40. What's the other one? 6640. So is it 193? Or is it 191? 4040, so it looks like it's 191. There we go. Upload fake emails. So that's half of them, which means there are 4 more computers to find. And it is arbitrary that Lambert informs you, and I do like it how Sam gets sarcastic there, but it's also very helpful. Because in today's gaming, it'd just pop up at the side probably that you've done, you know, 4 of 8 or something like that. Because we've got a lot more natural and dynamic when it comes to giving the player information. Not all games, but most games strive to do that. But up here is 2 guys. And I've miscalculated the enemies again, because there's also a little computer room that's past these 2 guys that has another 2 guys in it, so... Yeah, my count on this level is off, folks. So, there's 2 guards here who have the ability to walk through lasers. So I'm going to grab this dude, and I'm going to use his body to get me through lasers. To my right of this desk here, there is a computer that we need to get an upload on. So, feel free to dump this guy, upload it, and then we're going to be carrying his body. And carrying his body does 2 things on Chaos Theory. The first one, of course, is it lets us get through lasers, because this guy has the special chip in the fabric of his outfit that lets us deactivate them. The second one is it allows us to move at the maximum creeping distance, or creeping speed, with 0 noise, which is incredibly powerful. And I think I mentioned this in Pandora Tomorrow or earlier in this one, but I used to hate these moments as a kid where I had to carry somebody, because I always felt like I was moving really slow. But as I've come back with a better understanding of stealth mechanics and just how you have to sneak on this game on Expert, carrying a body is probably the best way to move, because you never have to worry about making too much noise or too little noise, because you're always hitting a sweet spot of speed and soundlessness, which I think is really useful. You'll notice I'm just on the edge of the corner here so I can watch the guard, but he can't see me. Be very careful in these positions. If you have your knee sticking out, or any kind of angle on you where you can see a millimetre of you and you're not in complete shadow, he'll spot you. Like if I was any further forward than I am now, he will probably see me. And we're going to leave this guy to his own devices, because we're going to use him as like a metronome to get through this room as he sweeps back and forth. So I move into this kitchenette here, which you might have trouble seeing on your screen. But he's going to move to the window, just there. He's going to stand, he's going to procrastinate a little bit, and then he's going to go back. As soon as this dude walks back, you can start walking forward, because you have such a measure of shadow and such a decent enough gate so that you can get to the door without him even knowing you were there. And then we're going to push all the way forward here to the right, and we're going to prop this guy down and then move through the next room. Because my strategy to get past this glass box is to hug the wall, and you cannot hug the walls when you're holding a body. That would be way too Scooby-Doo for Splinter Cell. But creep forward as far as you dare. Always look at your light meter here to see what it's doing. I noticed the door open there, so there's an additional 3 guards to the ones that I thought there were. And now we're going to walk, 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 and then just keep on moving. And for some reason, we have a lot of immunity thanks to the wall. And maybe that filing cabinet there, or that server, or wherever the hell that box thing was. Then I'm going to take the light out, and then we're going to hack this door as quickly as we can. It'll help if we have the code, I don't know if we do. So the light just screws up a little bit. We're going to have to hack it, so do this as fast as you can. So 68, 30, 68, 30. Come on, you damn machine, 30, 30, and there it was. And then shut the door immediately. But don't go too far because there's a camera directly above you. So you want to either shoot the camera to stun it, or you want to turn the light off. I'm going to turn the light off. Now that we've done this, we can access this room. I'm going to pop on the night visions, which is a lot more helpful for the people watching. I wish I'd have been doing it more often, but I actually don't like the night vision look on this game. I couldn't tell you why. I think it's... Aiden made a funny joke the other day mentioning how when I used to play this originally on my shitty CRT television, the television was so dark anyway, I had to play the entire game with night vision goggles on, and I think somewhere in my brain I remember that, so that I now willfully refuse to turn them on, and I've somehow built up this, you know, negative appreciation of them, which you shouldn't really have, because they can be a lifesaver. I just prefer to see the game not completely whitewashed out and crazy like that. But now that we've picked the door, we can hit this computer, we can hit the security access, because there's just a little bit more of the political intrigue of the storyline. 6840-192, so we only need one more to confirm. 6840-192. There it was. Upload that fake email. And then we can hit this, and it's going to enable us access to the vault. And now we have to backtrack our way all the way back so that we can get to the final area. And the final upload is going to be in the vault, so when it says one left to go, that means you've hit all of them right. I think the next one we're going to need is going to be in this cube, but don't quote me on that, guys, because my memory of this level is kind of hazy. It's all over the place. I just remember the struggle, and I'm so glad you didn't have to watch it because it fucked me off, this level. But here is another hackable door. We do not have the code. Oh, we do have the code. 2306. Awesome. So pop that in. And I don't know if I'm going to use ring airfoil rounds here, because I had issue with these two guys. Whenever you take one of them out, the other one always responds. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to shoot that guy in the head, then I'm going to shoot his friend as close to the head as I can get it as he moves. So that's really confusing, that. In earlier Splinter Cells, if you hit anybody in the body with a ring airfoil round, it would do this weird stun where they'd kind of like wobble around standing and then they'd recover. But for some reason then, that took him out. That must have been, you know, the sweet spot of his solar plexus or something. Couldn't tell you why it did that. That was the way you differentiated between the equipment as well, because sticky shockers was a one-hit down, and ring airfoil rounds was only a one-hit down if you hit them in the head. So it took a lot more skill to use the ring airfoil rounds, and the sticky shockers were kind of the, you know, one solution for everything, especially if there was water. If there's any water, sticky shockers are the best weapon on the game. Incredibly dangerous stuff. But there was the fake upload. Now we're just hacking this for the fun. I think this is going to turn the cameras off. 6930. I wasn't even paying attention. 693010. There we go. Delete archives, disable cameras. So cameras are now no longer an issue, which is really cool. And then we have to go all the way back to that security room where I was using footsteps to lure people out, and the door next to them is going to be open, and we're going to be able to go down into the vault. And this is where we get to do the Ocean's 11 and start robbing some shit. So there is one guard left inside the bank who can alert to us, and it's this dude here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand just on this corner. I'm going to pick up this body because I need it to get through the lasers, and I'm going to wait for him to stand there. He's going to stand there, stare down this way for a little while, and then he's going to backtrack, just as we watched him before, but from a different angle. And then as soon as he turns around, we're going to make our way into that kitchenette, and we're going to try and get past him. And then once we're past him, there's nobody stopping us from finishing the level then, which is a really good feeling, because this is definitely a tricky mission at first, but once you know what's happening, once you know where you're going, it definitely gets a lot more manageable. So I'm going to stand midway through these lasers. He doesn't notice that the lasers are deactivated for some reason, which is useful. And I'm not going to stand too close. You see how the light was shifting there? Wait for him to pass you, and then walk forward. Once again, there's too much shadow here. He does not turn around. He doesn't have any kind of finicky pattern where he stops and looks about and any of that nonsense. So we can just exploit it, get past him, and then push on to the end of the mission. And I'm hoping that this video is a lot better because it seems like there's quite a nice mixture of light and shadow on this one. So it should make it easier for people to see. But this is what the game looks like, guys, you know what I mean? It is a pretty dark game. And as long as you can see the bare bones of what's going on, you can follow it. And even if you can't, you can use my voice to guide you, I guess. But the software that I usually do color correction on, and adjusting brightness, and any kind of video compositional editing is on my laptop, and my laptop is really bad at the moment, so it's very tricky to do because it just keeps crashing and overheating, and I can't do a lot of the things I'd like to do with it, which I just need to replace is all, which I will do in time. But I could have gone through the vent here. Instead I chose to go through that door. I couldn't tell you why I chose that, I just kind of did. And then just push back the way you know now to the vault. So the vault is kind of interesting. It uses a telemetric, something like that, telemetric pick, which enables you to pick two locks at the same time. And it's a mechanic that I find is kind of weird, because they make it out to be this awesome piece of kit, and then it takes forever to use it. And I understand it's you know, to differentiate from normal lockpicking and make it feel a little bit more important, but it's essentially lockpicking incredibly slowly. But now that we've got that, I'm going to quickly check the objectives just to make sure how we're working on them. We've pretty much got everything done now at this point, except for robbing the bank and getting the final upload. There's also a sneaky laser that's going to catch a few people out if you've not saved. I thought the alarm was mandatory. I didn't realise you could skip it until I noticed the laser, and I was like, ah, okay, that's where the alarm is. So for this sequence, you have to just wait. Wait for it to stop blinking, turn solid green, and then do the next one. It's unbelievably simple. It's one of those things where once you realise what it is, I don't think you'll ever make a mistake here, because the game is very explicit on what it wants you to do. And that was it. That was the telemetric pin. Now you have to place some charges, and then you have to walk a certain distance before it gives you the prompt to detonate them. Which makes me wonder what would have happened if you'd have stood in that crazy looking electrical explosion. Would it have stripped his hair, his eyebrows, you know, waxed his balls? I don't even know what it would have done. Maybe it would have just stopped his heart or something crazy. But get into the back of the bank, hit this computer. This should be your final upload. If it's not, you've missed one, so go back to the computers you saw me hit and make sure you've hit all of them. So 20, 191, 6820. So there could only be two, and there it was, 2020. So there's the final fake upload. Of course, it's not going to tell you if the goal has been met while they're talking, because it can't pop up. But there you go, that's all the fake emails double checked. Then you need to grab this here. So just pick the object up, and then on your way out the bank, you want to stop before you hit the door, and there's going to be a laser. So pop on your pistol, your 5.7, put your thermals on, and at this moment in time, I don't actually know where the laser is that's tripping me up, and it's there, it's just on the doorway. So neutralise that, and now you are free to run back to the very beginning of the level and climb over the wall. If you did what I did at the very beginning of the video, you will not be assailed by anybody, because we will have taken them all out, and then everybody left inside the bank will be unconscious, so you have a free path all the way to where we need to be. That was the door, I just went the wrong way. And like, okay, yes, that was wrong. So through this door. This is going to lead you out the door next to the ladder that we climbed all the way back 29 minutes or so ago. And then you just have to sprint and get the hell out of Dodge. So potentially tricky mission that can be rather simple once you know the placements of everything and how it works. A lot of fun though. I think this is a really cool mission. I think it came out really well. And it wasn't as dark as the last two, so hopefully you'll be able to see what the hell's happening. But there is a thing to climb over here, and then when you touch it, it exfils. So there's mission complete. And there is all the objectives and our statistics. 100%, 30 minutes and 5 seconds, 14 enemies knocked out. Thank you very much for watching. You take care now.